Welcome back. So now that we've taken the CB354 cylinder for a short little ride, and we know that will make it around the block. I have every confidence in the world in that. It needs a few little things, tweaks here and there, but that's okay. It probably does not need to come back in here and get torn apart. So, as I have already moved this bike over here, I think we're going to start by just taking things apart little by little, a lot by a lot. We'll see how far we get. But yeah, I want to start disassembling this bike, keeping everything I need and getting rid of everything I don't. Okay, so my camera overheated, but let me catch you up with what I got done. Everything in the back here is off, the starter relay, the rectifier. I thought this battery box was removable, but no, it's part of the frame. Fender's out, carbs off. That mount is off. I got the switch, the grip, the perch for the mirror off there. And we're just going to keep going at it. I mean, this isn't taking hardly any time at all. So one thing I'm not thrilled about is this front mount here, here, and of course the other two on the other side. Spacers were supposed to be made. When you put a K1 and up engine in these KOs, there's a gap here and there should be a spacer there. So now I have to measure and make spacers for them. So after laying on my back under there with a tape measure and measuring, looks like about 13/16 in US measurements is about how thick each of those four are going to have to be. And then I don't know if those are like 10mm bolts. I'll have to figure that out so I can make those spacers. Okay, let's continue and take this side off. Oof, didn't leave many threads behind. Man, that's rotted out, huh? How can you tell if this is original Honda or not? It doesn't have any markings on it. Oh well. That is so beat up. took the long rod that holds the bottom of the engine in. Ridiculously long, huh? It also goes through the foot pegs. So now I gotta figure out a way to get them off. I have the oil draining out of it. Take this front mount out. I still have the top mount and one of the big bolts in the back. There's no nut on this one. Is there a nut on this one? Sure is. Right in the oil. It's the way we like it, right? Alright. So I have one bolt back there. I got this mount up here. And this engine's unbolted. I got the bolt out of the back bottom, so it's just these left. It does not look like there's a whole lot of room to pull this engine out. And I gotta figure out which side's best to pull it out. Looks like that tab is in that fin down there. So I guess the bolt has to come out. Or the bolts have to come out before the bracket. It's weird that would be like that. It should be. It is. Yep. Okay, so there should be nothing holding this engine in except it's sitting inside two slots in the bottom. So it has to come up and out. So I did take the side cover off and I took the starter out. I'm hoping that gives me enough room to swing this engine forward. See what that does for us. All right, that gets us out of that mount. But does it do much for that one? Okay, it is out of those two mounts. I think it'll come out this side. Fingers crossed. Let me get one of the dollies I have for an engine and put it down there, and we'll see if we can get it out. So I think I'm gonna use my engine lift that I got and see if that'll work. right, I may have to move this bike up a little bit. I think the furthest I can get it back is right about here. And where do we want it? Somewhere around... there. So yeah, I may have to move this bike up a little bit. Well, you know what? Let's get some weight off this first. So I got my engine crane here. I'm going to try to lift it up a little bit with that. And we'll see how that goes. I might have to move the bike up forward more as we go. Actually, that's not where I want the chain. Probably something like that. Let's take a look at that. Okay, so the engine is out and hanging from my little crane. All that's left is the rear swing arm, the rear tire, center stand, the front end, which is basically I could just take this off and pull the whole front end out. And then this frame is done. Oh, brake pedal and brake light switch. Yeah, it only took, what, a few hours today to do this, to get this thing all disassembled. Anyone can do this. If I can do it, you can do it. Go out, find yourself an old bike, get wrenching on it. You don't have to find one this bad, but you know, there's nothing like getting one of these things back together, getting it running, and taking them for that ride and cruising down the road on them knowing that you did this. So with that, I think I'll end this one, and I will catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.